Going off the log here today, I'll start with an incident that we had a few media inquiries on from Friday night, actually early Saturday morning. This happened at a parking ramp near 10th and Mall around a little after 12:30 Saturday morning, where a shooting was reported. The initial call started with a subject calling in saying that there was people in the ramp that were being disorderly and refusing to leave. When an officer responded to the call, he could hear gunshots being fired within the parking ramp. As additional officers arrived on scene, numerous vehicles and people were leaving the scene, and the officers were trying to take in exactly what was going on and what was considered a chaotic scene at that point. At this point, I'll tell you the detectives have been reviewing the video surveillance and talking with witnesses, and at this point we can say that there was some type of dispute between two different groups inside the ramp in which they both exchanged gunfire with each other. We did find evidence of the shooting on scene, and several vehicles in the ramp also have been hit with shots that were fired inside there. There was also a report from an 18-year-old male victim who had been possibly grazed with a bullet or two, maybe. Looks like he had superficial injuries is what was reported as a part of the gunfire. He was treated on scene by paramedics, did not get hospitalized because of that. Again, we're still trying to figure out exactly what took place leading up to this incident and exactly all the people that are involved in the vehicles they're driving. So this is an open and ongoing investigation at this point, so I'll give you more information when I have it, but right now it's kind of something that the detectives are working on as far as reviewing video surveillance, talking to additional witnesses just to try to determine who is all involved in this. I will say at the end of this, or actually after officers got on scene near the end of the incident, they had stopped a vehicle that was leaving the ramp. The officer that had stopped this vehicle had heard a gunshot go off inside the vehicle. The driver of the vehicle exited and reported that he had been unloading his pistol inside the car and it went off. A pistol was found in the vehicle by the officers, and the driver was placed under arrest. His last name is D-O-E, first name of Rudy, R-U-D-Y, the middle of D-A-M-B-O. He's 22 years old of Sioux Falls. He was taken to jail for several charges, including reckless discharge of a firearm, committing or attempting to commit a felony with a firearm, and possession of a controlled substance. At this point, he's not currently to be involved in the incident with the shooting. At this point, we don't think he's a suspect in that. We're still working on finding all the details out for this incident, though. Any questions on that?
So I guess with the dispute, was it just one? Do you know if it was just one gun that was going off, or was it multiple different guns that were going off?
Multiple guns went off, yep. The disputing parties each had guns and fired at each other, from what witnesses are telling us.
How many gunshots were fired?
I'm not going to be able to say at this point. Still working on that.
Did you say what exact time this happened at?
This was at 12:36 Saturday morning. Yeah, 18th.
Drugs and alcohol, I was asked if that played a part. Did
Still,
that contribute?
yeah, we still trying to figure out who's involved, so at this point we're not quite sure.
Other than the 18-year-old, is there any indication that there were any other injuries?
No other injuries have been reported to us at this point.
And then I think that this person was a suspect in the case. How do you rule him out?
Well, the witnesses have told us that these
car,
are some,
I'm talking
yeah.
about the car afterwards.
Yeah, the car, from what we're getting so far, it doesn't appear that it is. I mean, we can't say 100%, but at this point it appears that he is not a suspect in this original shooting.
How concerning is it that you've got two groups of people shooting at each other?
Well, it's very concerning. I mean, that's a parking ramp. There's a lot of people around at that time. As we saw when we arrived, there's a lot of people leaving, driving away. There's some yelling, screaming going on. So it is concerning, yeah.
Is there any suspicion that it's maybe gang related?
I'm not sure.
Do you know how many vehicles were hit by the bullets?
I was still working on determining all the vehicles, yep.
There were a lot of protests or setups this weekend, I guess peaceful protests this weekend. Did it have any ties? Did this incident have any ties to that?
Not that we've been told. No, it doesn't appear to be related to that at this point. Any questions? Okay. Off the log, nothing much really to go through other than that today. There was a number of aggravated assaults, a couple arsons, nothing with major damage. Disorderly conducts were standard reports, family offenses as well, a few frauds or identity thefts. We did have 2 larcenies involving a stolen gun that was taken from 2 different vehicles near 77th and Beale. This was early Saturday morning, 2 separate reports, 2 pistols from 2 different vehicles. Narcotics were nothing of note. There was 1 rape and 3 sex offenses. There were reports. Simple assaults were also reports or domestics. There were 6 stolen vehicles from over the weekend, 3 sudden unattended deaths that were not suspicious. And the weapons violations I just covered at the bottom. So any questions, anything else from the weekend at all?
Yeah, can you revisit the incident Friday night with the vehicle in the parking garage or out in front of the courthouse?
Okay. Yeah, as far as any specific questions? Or?
Yeah, so anything new? Anything new with that?
Since the email went out on Saturday morning that we found that everything was safe with that vehicle, there has been no developments as far as anything else on that. It was a situation that, I'll just kind of recap the email that went out to the press. It was, a combination of different things with the proximity of the courthouse, Friday night downtown with a lot of different people, a busy area, and the planned event that was the next day, that we, with abundance of caution for the public, that we had to make sure that area was safe so everything could proceed further after that. So it took some time. I know there was some inconvenience to some people as far as having to shut down the area for several hours, but if you look at the totality of the circumstances in this event, with all those different factors being taken into account, and then the vehicle having some type of indication for potential bomb-making materials in it, which I will clarify, that could be a lot of different things. It could be anything from ammunition, gunpowder, household goods like fertilizer, peroxide, stuff like that, that could cause a dog to indicate on a vehicle. So with that being where it was, with everything else going on, that's why we had to do what we did that night and make sure that everything was safe for everybody going forward.
Yeah.
Did you guys find anything in that vehicle then that the dog would have alerted to potentially?
No.
No.
But it's something that it could have been before, it could have been in there for a time, taken out. You just don't know for sure.
So the proximity of the vehicle had a lot to do with what happened.
Yep, that and the event going on the next day. I mean, being near the courthouse and then the event going on the next day with a lot of people scheduled to be down there. Yeah.
Where was the vehicle at?
So I think it was right near the courthouse in a handicap parking spot on Phillips Avenue.
And it was a white van?
I guess I actually have to look that up to see exactly what it was, but
Okay.
yeah,
That's all right.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, okay. So an abundance of caution, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Describe what goes through your minds as police officers when something like this happens.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak for myself. I wasn't there on the scene, but just getting the information we did, this kind of stuff doesn't happen very often downtown. You think of the courthouse being, we've had incidents, many, many years ago of, terroristic incidents involving courthouse. So you think of, a vehicle being parked there, abandoned there, suspicious, to us is, windows down, no permit in the vehicle in a handicap parking spot. And then the indication from the dog takes it to another level. It really does. So I'm just glad everything worked out the way it did. And we had numerous agencies that were involved with this, Highway Patrol and other federal agencies that were part of this incident being investigated. So it just went smoothly and ultimately was what we wanted to have happen. There was no danger to the public. Ultimately, we found out. So
Where is the vehicle now and what's being done with it?
the vehicle is towed. I don't know if the owner has picked it up at this point, but it was towed from the scene.
When was it stolen?
I have to look that up quick here. Bear with me for a second here. It was reported stolen on the 16th of October.
In Sioux Falls?
Yeah. Other questions? All right, have a good day.